Hi guys, welcome back to Cloud Folklore, where we'll unravel the mysteries of the digital sky. I remain your host, Goodness Ebo, and I just want to welcome you to 2025. I'm wishing you a happy new year. I hope you had lovely holidays, and I hope you are pumped up and ready for all of the value we're going to give to you this year. We're starting off with CloudOps. We're going to do a deep dive. We're going to talk about what it's all about, why it's important. We're going to also review cost challenges and solutions. So let's get right to it. Today, we'll be diving into CloudOps, an exciting and essential area of DevOps. If you're working in tech, whether as a developer, a DevOps engineer, an operations engineer, or just a cloud curious, this video will help you understand CloudOps, its significance, and how to tackle its cost challenges. So let's get started. CloudOps is a specialization within the DevOps family. It takes the core DevOps principles like collaboration, automation, and optimization and applies them to cloud architecture. Now, this means designing, deploying, and managing cloud solutions from simple setups to highly complex infrastructures. I once read in an IBM article, and I couldn't agree more. CloudOps does for cloud computing what DevOps does for application development and delivery. It basically defines a set of operational processes and protocols and manages their day-to-day implementation. Well, you might be wondering, why is CloudOps such a big deal? Why is it my first video of the year? Why am I talking about it? Well, I recently wrote an article around the various areas of specialization in DevOps and their cost challenges, and I decided to dive deeper with CloudOps because at the end of the day, in today's tech landscape, right, you can't really do modern DevOps without CloudOps tools or without cloud tools. Now, CloudOps stands on its own, but it empowers other areas of specialization within DevOps like release management, DevSecOps, or DataOps. Now, here's what makes CloudOps so impactful. It ensures that cloud architectures are highly available. That is basically they are resilient even during failures. They're efficiently scalable, handling fluctuating workloads without breaking a sweat. They are secure. They protect your data and also maintain compliance with industry standards and best practice. They're cost effective, basically balancing performance and expenses, and they're fault tolerant as well, ensuring that systems remain operational. Even when parts of the system fails or during like really intense downtimes. Cloud also ensures your applications, whether written in Python, Java, Ruby on Rails, JavaScript, you name it, right? It ensures that it runs smoothly without interruptions or inefficiencies. Now, I've introduced CloudOps to you, but what are the key responsibilities of the engineers? What exactly would you call their role or a range of responsibilities that they carry out? One of it is cloud migration. Now, this involves moving applications and data from on-premise to cloud environments or in between cloud platforms. Basically moving from, let's say, an on-premise center to AWS, or AWS to GCP, or GCP to AWS, or GCP to Azure. Basically, migration. Another is infrastructure development, infrastructure deployment and management. This involves setting up things like virtual machines, databases, and networks, all within the cloud environment. Another is automation, where they use tools like Terraform, Ansible, or even CloudFormation to streamline repetitive tasks. Another is containerization and orchestration, where they manage applications with tools like Docker and Kubernetes. Every task revolves around one goal in CloudOps, or one set of goals, which is creating reliable, scalable, and cost-efficient infrastructures. Now, let's dive into the cost challenges in CloudOps. Now, this is where things get tricky, right? Because CloudOps itself involves cost. Unlike front-end or back-end development where you can code and test locally, right? Simulating development environments in the cloud comes with a price tag. But don't worry, don't panic. There are ways to actually manage this cost effectively, and that's what we're diving into. Now, you could use free and also open source tools in CloudOps as well, right? Tools like Terraform and Ansible, which helps you automate provisioning and management of cloud resources. They are open source tools. You have Prometheus and Grafana that helps you monitor and virtualize metrics. You also have Docker and Kubernetes for containerization and orchestration. But there's a catch to all this, right? Because some of these tools actually have advanced features that would make you incur cost if you try to use those advanced features. For example, now if you're trying to run Kubernetes in the cloud using, let's say, AWS EKS or GKE, right? That's a Google Kubernetes engine. They are not free. you have to pay, right? However, you can practice for free using tools like Minikube and MicroCreate. That's for Kubernetes. Docker has free tier, but if you want to dive or use the advanced features in Docker, you'd have to pay as well. Now, there are other helpful tools that are free. For example, CI/CD platforms like Jenkins, Git Actions, and GitLab CI/CD. Those are open source. And you also have Vagrant for managing virtual machines, right? If you don't want to use AWS virtual machines or Google virtual machines or cloud platforms virtual machines, you could actually use the one from Vagrant. Now there are more advanced tools, right? That cloud platforms offers, right? Which includes virtual machines, databases, and even serverless architectures like AWS Lambda, right? There are also some kind of specialized services, AI services like Amazon Athena for analytics, and also Amazon Lex for AI-driven chatbots. These tools are powerful, but they can significantly add costs. Let's dive deeper. Let's look at the key cost challenges and solutions in CloudOps. Now, the first I would like to talk about is the high cost of cloud resources. Now, cloud resources can be really expensive, especially when you're running it in production environments, right? Now, beginners, experienced engineers, and even enterprises, they face this cost. So it's not something you can run away from. The cost that is there or they are there. Running cloud resources within cloud platforms are really expensive or can be expensive, especially when you're using them over a period of time, right? So what can you do to reduce this cost? The first thing you need to look at is the free tiers. Now, cloud platforms offer free tiers for various resources. Now, I would advise you explore that, especially when you're using the resources for the first time or when you're opening up a new account with them. Features are offered, I think, within the first 12 months of signing up to most of these cloud platforms. So, cloud platforms also offer credits. You could apply for credits on AWS, and platforms like GCP and Azure actually give you credits on signing up for the first time. And there are also savings plan offered by cloud platforms, especially when you are using their resources for a long period of time. You could explore that as well to save yourself some cost. Now let's look at over provisioning or underutilization of resources, right? Now, this is really common among beginners because they often don't know or understand use cases of some resources within cloud platforms. For example, using T2X large EC2 instance for a simple static web page, right? When you could have easily used a S3 bucket and turned on static website hosting for it. Now, that would have sufficed and saved you a lot of money than using that large EC2 instance. What you need to do is to learn about resource options and their pricing within cloud platforms. You need to always right size resources for your workload. Don't over provision, don't underutilize your resources. Next, let's look at data transfer, migration, and storage costs. Now, with enterprises especially, there's the need to use multi-region to use resources within multiple regions, right? And also data migrations when especially when your website or your application or your software is being used all around the world. And these can be very pricey. They carry cost, right? So I would advise when it comes to storage, use lifecycle management. For example, S3 buckets, you can use my lifecycle configuration S3 buckets that allows you to transition from the standard storage to down to Glacier, right? Or even standard infrequent, depending on how often these storage are being accessed, right? You also have to enable caching so that at the end of the day, for static information and even some dynamic information, right? You could actually use caching and also leverage content delivery networks like CloudFront to make sure that data migration doesn't get as pricey as it should be. Next, let's look at another cost challenge, which is complex pricing models. This is something I have struggled with personally because cloud platforms have really complex pricing models, right? Yeah, they have documentations for it, but it can be somewhat puzzling to understand what pricing model works for this. I guess that's why they give out certifications for these things, why you have to write certifications and all to show that okay, you totally understand how to use their tools, right? Studying their documentation, their pricing documentation is important to understand what you pay for what, right? And also using tools like AWS pricing calculator to estimate your cost actually comes in handy. Another thing I would advise is that you should, as much as possible, make sure you monitor and budget properly. on cloud platforms because costs can spiral out of control without monitoring. Use tools like AWS CloudWatch if you're using AWS or GCP billing, right, to properly monitor your resources that are spinning or that are running, and also set budgets, set alerts, track your spendings. Cloud platforms allows you to set cost alerts. Especially, for example, you could set your cost alert if you exceed a particular amount of money. For example, let's say $100. Let's say you don't want to exceed $100 on that cloud platform running resources. Before it gets to that point, you can actually get alerts for it if you set it right. So explore these options and make sure you don't your costs don't actually spill out of control, and you wake up one morning and you are seeing $1,000, $2,000 in cost when you don't actually know why that came about. When you actually you're the one that actually spinned up these resources, but do you know how to like manage them properly? So these are some of the these are some of yeah so these are some of the cost challenges and solutions that you could actually take up to make sure you don't incur unnecessary costs within cloud platforms and in CloudOps. So, CloudOps is a powerful specialization that offers immense value despite its cost challenges. With the right tools, strategies, and a commitment to continuous learning, you can navigate these challenges effectively. Remember, practice makes perfect. Dive into hands-on practices, explore free-tier tools, and stay curious. Now, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights on CloudOps and beyond. Thank you for joining me today. I will see you on the next one.